Today we are taking all 17 of the Los Santos Tuners vehicles and putting them to the test to see which one is the fastest and which one is the slowest. We'll be going from the slowest vehicle out of all of these cars to the fastest vehicle out of all these cars. And we're also using every single one of the unreleased vehicles, which is just awesome. So even if the vehicle isn't out in GTA Online, if let's say one of them is the fastest vehicle out of all of them by a mile, then you guys are going to know, wait to buy it, and then buy it when it comes out, just so then you guys are knowledgeable of which vehicle is truly the fastest. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, enter the giveaway down below in the description for a chance to win $100 million on any platform you play on. That ends on July 31st. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. All the cars are lined up on the drag strip and ready to go. So with that said, let's get into it. Starting off with the slowest car, it's going to be the Warrantor HKR. It got a quarter mile time of 14.77 seconds. It's honestly not the best car to use for racing in GTA 5. It actually drifts fairly well, but in terms of its acceleration and just building up to its top speed, it is very, very slow out of all of the other tuner cars in the game. I have to say that it does have a lot of really cool upgrades, and it is kind of fun to drive around. I wasn't too hyped about it when it first came out, but now that I've upgraded and played around with it for a little while, it's actually a fairly fun vehicle. It's just not the fastest. The 16th slowest car is going to be the Dominator GTT. It got a quarter mile time of 13.07 seconds. Now, just because it's slow, it does not mean it's a terrible car. Mainly, it's because of that acceleration. It's a big muscle car, it's super heavy, and it loses traction on its launch. But if you guys wheelie this car properly, it will absolutely take off. Plus, I think it's absolutely stunning. You can customize this thing and make it look really, really cool. I absolutely love the car. It's definitely just not the fastest, especially if you don't do that wheelie. If you do the wheelie, it's going to take off, but if you don't, it's going to be pretty damn slow. The 15th slowest car released in this update is going to be the RT3000 or the Honda S2000. I absolutely love this car, and I really don't care that it's not one of the fastest vehicles in the game. I just love the Honda S2000 in real life, so I have one in game. I probably won't use it too much for racing now because it's honestly not the best performing car in terms of its speed, but it handles pretty damn well. So if you're looking for a car that handles well, this is definitely for you. But a lot of people are going to pass right by you. But don't forget, it's not all about how fast you can go, it's how well you could drive the car. So in some instances, you might actually do really, really well in a race with this car. It's definitely not the fastest though. The 14th slowest car in this update is going to be the Tailgater S. It got a quarter mile time of 12.99 seconds. I mean, it's not great, it's not terrible, it's definitely not one of the fastest cars. It does have a lot of cool customizations though, and I know for a fact it handles really, really well because I've used this car a couple of times while doing contracts in GTA 5. Since obviously I didn't own it back then, I got to use Sasanta's car, and it actually performs really, really well in terms of its handling. So some of these cars may not be the fastest, but a lot of them have outstanding handling. So some of the cars just won't be all that fast, but I'm telling you, you're gonna have a great time driving them, and you're not gonna be wiping out too much because they handle like gods. In 13th place, we have the Ennis Euros. It got a quarter mile time of 12.91 seconds. I honestly expected this car to do a lot better, but it's that acceleration that really kills it. It did pretty well once it got going and gained traction, but when it didn't have any traction off the line, it really got screwed over like a lot of the other heavier cars in this game. Some things you might want to know about this car is it handles pretty well. It turns very sharply, but it's also extremely delicate. If you turn just a little bit too much, you're going to spin out because it does drift around a lot. It's really fun, but in terms of its handling, it's actually surprisingly really, really good. Even though it's great at drifting, it handles really, really well. So if you're going to use it in racing, it's honestly a pretty good choice to use. It's just not going to be the fastest. In 12th place, we have the Jester RR. It got a quarter mile time of 12.87 seconds, which isn't that great. You know what I'm noticing? So far, all the vehicles that we have currently in GTA 5 Online that have been released aren't the fastest in this update. All of the vehicles that we're going to be getting are going to be pretty damn fast, which is honestly awesome. So that's something to be kind of hyped for. We're going to be getting some fast-ass cars. But just because this vehicle is in 12th place doesn't mean it's a bad vehicle. It's awesome, it looks super aggressive, and it handles really, really well. It's an amazing sports car. It's definitely just not the fastest one that was released in this update. In 11th place, we have the Cypher. It got a quarter mile time at 12.8 seconds. This is also an unreleased vehicle. It's the BMW. You know what's crazy? We have 10 vehicles that were released on the day of for this update, and half of them are literally the slowest out of all of the vehicles in this update, which is kind of insane, which means some of these unreleased vehicles are going to perform pretty damn well in terms of their top speeds, accelerations, and just a drag race in terms of a quarter mile. Plus, this car looks pretty freaking insane. Rockstar did an amazing job on it, and I cannot wait to drive this thing in online. I'm so happy we got a brand new BMW. Even though I'm not a huge BMW fan, this thing looks pretty damn sick, and it is the 11th fastest out of all of the vehicles in this update. These next two cars are actually tied for 9th place, starting with the Annis ZR350. I absolutely love this thing. I like to call it the Mazda RX-7 because that's what it honestly is. And it got a quarter mile time of 12.85 seconds, which isn't that great. It is tied for 9th place though, so it is in the top 10, which is still pretty damn good in terms of all the cars from this update. Plus, it's an RX-7, so I don't care if it's the slowest vehicle in the entire game. It's an RX-7. I love RX-7s, so I love this car. It's freaking phenomenal. It drifts a ton, which just makes it even more fun. I'm not going to use it anymore in races unless specifically we're doing a drift race. I'm just going to play around with this thing in free mode. I love the car, and it's tied for 9th. The other car tied for 9th place is going to be the Karen Futo GTX, or as I like to say, the AE86. Oh yeah, baby. This thing got a quarter mile time of 12.85 seconds, which is pretty good. It's still in the top 10. It's definitely not the fastest though, but it is still really fun to drive around, and honestly, it's a pretty cool looking car. Look at all the cool customizations you could throw on this thing. Like, look at the freaking exhaust. That thing is massive. The regular Karen Futo that we have has some crazy exhaust options, but we don't have a freaking heart-shaped exhaust. I low-key want to buy a beater car in real life now and make some insane exhaust, like the one I saw on Instagram one time. Some guy used a fucking basketball hoop as their freaking exhaust pipe, which I definitely want to try sometime. But this car is really awesome. It's fun to drive around with. It's definitely not the fastest, but it's still in the top 10. In 8th place, we have the Annis Remus with a quarter mile time at 12.77 seconds. Taken, we now have 9 of the cars that were already released in this update. They're literally not the fastest cars. So all of the cars after this are practically the fastest cars in this update, and we still don't have them in GTA 5 Online. Like I said, that is something to look forward to. Rockstar, you're actually kind of smart with this. You didn't release some of the fastest cars yet. You're going to wait a little while for that. This car is still pretty great. It handles really well. It's great to use in races, and it looks pretty damn cool. This thing can have 2 heart-shaped exhausts, so it beats out the GTX just a little bit. This thing is pretty insane. It's not the fastest, but it's pretty cool. In 7th place, we have an unreleased vehicle known as the Growler. It got a quarter mile time of 12.72 seconds. It's a pretty nice looking Porsche. You guys probably saw the video of the unreleased vehicles that I made. I cannot wait to upgrade this thing in online. I'm going to make it look so clean. It's a really, really nice looking car. It handles pretty damn well, and just in my opinion, it looks really, really cool. Let me know what you guys think of this car down below in the comments section. It is the 7th fastest vehicle from this update. In 6th place, we have yet another unreleased vehicle, the Previon. It got a quarter mile time of 12.22 seconds, which is pretty insane. I did not expect this unreleased vehicle to do that well. I expected it to be in right around 13th place maybe. But then again, never judge a book by its cover. This thing looked like it wasn't going to be a super fast car. You upgrade it, and then you actually use it, and this thing is extremely fast. It is the 6th fastest in this update. It does not have a ton of customization options. As you can see, the body still looks pretty much stock, but it's lowered with a few minor things done to it, but still, it's a pretty nice looking car, and it was remastered from, I believe, GTA San Andreas. I honestly like it, and I can't wait till it's released. The 5th fastest car in this update is another unreleased one. It's going to be the Dominator ASP. It got a quarter mile time of 12.11 seconds. You saw it didn't really have the best launch, but it still takes off, making it the 5th fastest in this update. That's not all though. It looks freaking awesome, which is honestly just an upside, but it's super simple to wheelie with. I was actually doing it perfectly every single time. If you do it properly, you'll be able to get from 0 to like 127 miles per hour in like 3 seconds. This thing takes off. I'm telling you, it's super simple to do the wheelie in this car. Plus, it looks awesome, and it's already fast enough without doing the wheelie. This car is awesome, and I cannot wait for it to be released. In 4th place, we have the Vectre, or the Vector. This car does a quarter mile in 12.02 seconds, which is insane. It does not drift. It can't. It's so hard to drift with this car, which means it handles so well. You guys could turn as much as you want. You will not spin out unless you're going downhill or something like that. Plus, it has tons of cool upgrade potential, and of course, it is unreleased. It is the Lexus that we're getting in this update. It looks phenomenal. I absolutely love this car, and I cannot wait to use this thing in races. I'm going to slap with it. I'm gonna have to test it against the Jaguar, because that car is amazing in terms of its handling, but I think this thing might just be better. It literally does not spin out at all. You have control of it 100% of the time. I cannot wait until it's released. Next up, we have technically another unreleased vehicle. It's the Comet S2. It got a quarter mile time of 11.97 seconds, which is pretty great. Now, technically, you can use this right now in GTA Online and test drive it in the test track, which is awesome. And it has tons of upgrade potential. Take a look at this thing. Look at the spoiler on it. Like, what even is that? By the way, all the cars in this video are also maxed out, if you were wondering. This thing is insane. It handles really well. It's actually drifting pretty well, as you can see. I believe it's also all-wheel drive, which is awesome. It's honestly a great car. It's super fast, and it is the 3rd fastest vehicle in this update. The 2nd fastest vehicle in this update is the Karin Calico GTF. It got a quarter mile time of 11.12 seconds. Like I said in previous videos, this thing is insane, and the best part is we have it right now in GTA 5 Online, and of course it was the first vehicle that Rockstar leaked for this update. Guys, I'm telling you, this car is outstanding. If you need a fast car right now, and also a car that handles really well currently in GTA 5 Online, this car is for you. I was doing a race with somebody that was using a stock version of this, and I got obliterated. This thing is amazing. So if you're looking for a great all-around vehicle, this thing is outstanding. Plus, as an added bonus, it's the 2nd fastest vehicle in this entire update. And the fastest car in this update is going to be the Sultan RS Classic. I had my doubts about this thing. I thought it was going to be just like the Sultan Classic, but a 2-door version. But the performance speaks for itself. It got a quarter mile time of 11.11 seconds, which is just insane. So I apologize to the Sultan RS Classic because I thought it was going to be shit. This thing is outstanding, and I honestly love the Sultan Classic. You can make it look really cool, and the Sultan Classic honestly wasn't the fastest car ever in GTA 5, but in terms of this update now, the Sultan RS Classic is literally the fastest car in the entire update, which is just awesome, because I love the car, so I'm going to drive it around a lot more now. But anyways, that pretty much wraps up the video. Those are all of the cars ranked from this update, from the slowest to the fastest. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Were you surprised of some of the cars that were super slow compared to some of the other cars that were super fast? And honestly, I'm really surprised that the 10 cars that we have currently in GTA 5 Online are some of the slowest ones in this entire update, subtracting, obviously, the Calico. But still, it just gives us something to look forward to. We're going to be getting some very fast cars and some that handle really well in the coming weeks in GTA 5 Online. Like I said, it's just something to look forward to. We're not going to be getting these shitty vehicles. We're going to be getting some amazing stuff. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to smash a thumbs up on it, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you guys thought of everything in this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. By the way, be sure to check out Digizani. They'll hook you up with tons of discounted games, gaming accessories, discounted gift cards, and in-game currency for dozens of your favorite games. Don't forget to use code FROLIX at checkout for a 10% discount.